Hi, I just wanted to come on here and inform the public that I will no longer be using dating apps. They are not for me. I can't do it. I think I'm just too anxious to go meet people in person and take it seriously. I always just feel like I'm going on an interview and I can't take the person seriously, romantically, because I'm like, who is this person that I created in my head, but now you're actually sitting in front of me? I think the only way I'm really gonna meet someone is through a mutual friend or have had a friendship with them already, because I just think that makes it less awkward. And at this point, I'm using dating apps as social media, which is just so wrong. I'm just scrolling through when I'm bored, and yeah, that's just mean. Because I would make a video talking about somebody else doing that and saying that they're horrible, and then I'm doing it. So I'm out. I'm done.
Y'all, I'm officially off dating apps, and let me explain why. Obviously, most matches turn into nothing. Most exchanges go stale after a couple exchanges. We all know that. But the reason I'm off is because I don't like the person it turns me into. There are so many options, and you can get so nitpicky. You can be like, oh, I don't like that plant in the background of her photo, so swipe. Because there's always another profile available. And not everyone presents really well online. You could be missing out on awesome people because, maybe they don't take the best photo, or they don't have the best caption in their profile, or they don't have enough information because they were overwhelmed and couldn't fill all that shit out. So I'm out. And if you see me on my profile on Hinge or Bumble or whatever, what's the other one? Tammy, is that how you say it? I'm not on there. So I don't know. Find me here, find me in the wild. I can't do it. If dating apps are working for you, we all have to be exhausted by this. I understand that there aren't a ton of options, but it's just psychologically, this has to be having an effect on us, just as a whole, to have this much access to this many people and to be able to so easily dismiss and look for the next thing. So I gotta bow out. I gotta bow out respectfully.
Fellas, get off the dating apps. Get off the dating apps if you want any good results here. Just get off the dating apps. They don't even like y'all on dating apps. They can't stand you guys on dating apps. They complain so much about how bad the dating apps are for them. Leave the dating apps. Just leave. They look for the red flags immediately. They'll screenshot y'all and send it to their best friends. They're doing TikToks of y'all. It's embarrassing for y'all out here. They swipe on 7 out of 100 of y'all. That's how much they don't like you. Get off the dating apps. Save yourself a shit ton of time, stress, and everything else. And get up out here in the wild and go after what you're interested in. Focus on yourself, but develop your interpersonal skills. Get up out in the wild and start going after what you're interested in. Don't let them gamify you anymore, because they're sick of you guys on dating apps. I'm telling you, they complain about you the most, how bad it is out here. Get off. If you have self-respect, you need to get off the dating apps. Don't be sending roses and hearts. They can't stand you more when you send roses and hearts. They get sick. They're like, ugh, he sent me a rose, girl. Yuck. Oh, you think I'm playing? Ask the girls when they get sent the roses. They don't even look at them. It's almost pathetic to them. It's like, yeah, he sent me a rose. They have overwhelming numbers and options on dating apps, and you don't get it. You ain't doing it. You're not having any success on dating apps because you're on dating apps. Get out in the wild. I'm telling you, I promise, this is gonna save you. Your life will be so much better if you just hop your ass off.
I'm going to share the reason why I don't date online anymore. I've been dating online for the last 2 years, and although it might work for some, it hasn't worked for me, and I think this is the reason why. Dating online is like picking out of a catalog. It's like you swipe left, you swipe right. Everybody is out there. Everybody says they're single, okay? That is an instant, hey, I'm available. I'm here on a dating app. So are you. I'm single. It's really easy. It's really easy. And some might argue that maybe it's easier for women than it is for men because you do get more matches. As a woman, I guess maybe we're more discerning. We're not swiping as often as men. And I'm only saying this because I have guy friends who say that they just swipe. It's basically a numbers game and they literally get like 0 matches. But the biggest thing to take away here is that it's easy. Online dating is very convenient and easy and really requires little to no effort. Other than putting up a profile picture and a little blurb about yourself, you are easily saying to the people who are on the online dating community that you are single. And all you have to do to get access to someone, first, they have to match with you, but all you have to do physically is go like this. So the very last Tinder date that I went on, okay, we had such a great connection online, texting back and forth. We actually had this cute little thing where we were calling each other wifey and hubby, and that we would be this great love story that met on Tinder. And it was like, you know, those text messages, the like good mornings, the good nights, sweethearts, the like good morning beautiful, the like hey wifey, what are you up to, the little videos, the little voice notes that we sent back and forth, that instantly gratified and instantly gave external validation like that, easy. And all this man had to do, and all I really had to do, is go like this. So then finally we go on our first date after weeks of talking, and it was like meeting somebody for the very first time. Even though we had weeks of talking, it is so easy to fast track into like this relationship. That's not really a relationship, it's just flirting. But through voice notes, text messages, videos, like it's not, you're not sharing space with someone. You're fast tracking access to someone who didn't really put a lot of effort to get access to you. So then when you finally meet up, it's like this person wasn't really even qualified to be even going on a date with you, because you had no idea who they actually were, right? There was just like zero physical chemistry, nothing to talk about. This was a literal stranger. They are a literal stranger. But the trick with online dating is it makes you believe that you are meeting somebody who you have a close connection with, even though you've never met them. You've only met them online. And it got me thinking, if you value yourself as a person, right? Your self-worth is up here, and you meet somebody who had this much effort to get to know you, to get access to your phone number and take you on a date, then why are we not making it harder for people to date us? Online dating makes it so easy for someone to take us out on a date. And I feel like there should just be more effort. So dating in real life, out in the real world, out on these streets, going up to someone and saying, hey, are you single? Hey, what's your name? I'm Ro. Would you like to go for coffee? Getting to know someone in the space that you meet them. And then when you go on a date, you'll actually have something to talk about because you met at the same gym, or you met at the same place where both your kids go to the same school, or at the same grocery store. You actually meet them and build something real and not online. To me, now effort is observing somebody in their space, out on these streets, observing if they're single, going up to them, having the balls to walk up to them and talk to them and strike up a conversation, get to know them, not just this instant little online. And yes, it requires more than just your finger to go like this, swipe, look at a profile, read a little bio, look at a picture and go swipe. No, it requires your feet. You walk up to that person and talk to them. It requires your attention, conversation skills. It requires, a little bit of flirting and a little repartee, a little bit something to get them laughing, or whatever it is to get access to them. And then when you've put in a little bit of work, then you ask them on a date. Then you have something to talk about. So this is why I don't go online dating anymore.
Since me and you are friends now, I'm gonna give you a little bit of advice. Delete it. Do not look at me like that. I know you have it. Hinge, Bumble and Bumble, Plenty of Fish. Ooh, that one's horrible. Tinder. Delete it. You've been on there for 6 months. Have you met anybody? Maybe even a year. All the dates you've been on have been what? Trash. Delete it. Delete the app. You're gonna press on it, you're gonna hold it down, and when it starts to do that wiggly thing, you're gonna hit the little X and it's gonna be gone. And you're not gonna download it again. Because next year you're not gonna be on a dating app. I need you to get your hair done, your nails done, your lashes done, get in the gym, whatever's gonna make you feel good about yourself. And I'm mad at you because you get invited to places and then you turn it down. How are you gonna meet him if you never leave the house? You need to start going to these places. You know where I met my fiance? Somebody else's wedding, at an event. You need to get outside, okay? So delete the app. As a matter of fact, I might do a story time about my dating experience on dating apps so you can see that there's not, the girl already told y'all, there is nothing left. There's nothing left on the dating app. You need to get outside, and you're gonna do it next year.
Men and women both get off of the dating apps. Ladies, to us men,
My guy is speaking facts. The dating websites are 1,000% a waste of time. Now, I spent about 3 years on the dating websites. And while I was on there, I dated with a purpose. I was very intentional and took it very serious. Every single one of my encounters played me like a fiddle. They did not take me serious. They played with my emotions, made me think that they wanted a relationship, already had situations going on. It was just a complete disaster. For the men, because I would get their stories too, women are just on there looking for sponsors. They're looking for free dinner dates, free drinks. So they're a waste of time too. I would want to say maybe 1 out of every 100 people are actually looking for something serious on there. I understand y'all get bored and sometimes you feel like you need somebody to talk to. Trust me, you don't need it. When I tell you the dating websites are going to bring in more negative energy than positive, listen to what I say. I've met some of the worst people on these dating websites, and it's not even funny. Be okay is a big one too. Just delete that altogether. Don't even look at the advertisement for it. It's a waste of time.
You see, people often ask me why I'm so against dating apps. My friend was supposed to go on a date with a guy. Tonight, they were supposed to go to the theater. We were together during brunch and he told her that he suddenly got sick. So it's obviously not true because she has to reach out to find out, so are we meeting there? What's the plan? And that shows you how flaky guys are. I don't know if it's just an LA thing, but here especially, because everything is so accessible. Like there's always someone else. There's always a better person. There's always a better option. So nobody really invests or take the time to know people. Everyone became so lazy, especially guys. And that's what's happening in today's society. That's why I really don't like the concept of dating apps. I never liked it. I will never like it. People can tell me whatever they want. To me, it's the most unorganic way to meet someone and to always be there, swapping for what, for who. And then it takes forever even to get to have a date, because for this reason, people talk with other people. First of all, I'm Italian and we date one person at a time. We don't even have this thing that we date multiple people at the same time because it's disrespectful. If I'm knowing you, if I'm talking to you, why do I need to talk with other 10 people? There's no such a thing as I'm wasting time. You're not wasting anything. If something is meant for you, it's meant for you. If not, it's not. Everything happens in divine timing. So anyway, end of the story. I'm going to the theater with my friend tonight because I felt bad that she has these 2 tickets and nobody to go with. So yeah, this is dating in LA for you. I feel so bad for her, so bad. But anyway, I've been telling her, you're protected, don't worry. It's just an F-boy. you don't need him.
Hey ladies, I feel like a big reason that like a lot of these dating apps just are not gonna work for most people, especially women who date men, is that most of these men are not marketable on apps. Like, it's hard to like a man through a screen. They don't know how to take pictures. Their sense of humor rarely ever translates. Like, it's not the same as meeting them in person. I remember one time a couple of years ago, I was like 21, I think. I went to a music festival and I ended up meeting this guy and we hit it off really well. I had the biggest crush on him for the 30 minutes to an hour that I knew him. And at some point in that conversation, he was like, "You look really familiar." And I was like, he kind of looked familiar too. Turns out we had both seen each other. At that point in time, I was on Tinder. We had both seen each other on Tinder. And he was like, "Yeah, I swiped on you, but you didn't swipe me back." So I said, "Let me see your profile." I looked at his profile and I was like, "Yeah, I would never swipe on this profile. I know exactly why I did. These pictures are hideous. The bio was completely empty. I would never go for this." But meeting him in real life, I'm obsessed with you. Like, the energy just does not translate through the screen. It's a lot easier to say no to a man when you're looking at him like reducted. Like, this is not really him. This is him trying to sell himself, and he's just not doing a great job at it. I also found in my experience, I don't know if this is necessarily a normal thing, but in my experience, the men who do seem really good on dating apps usually have turned out to be the worst men in person for me. Like, the ones that do know how to take good pictures and the ones that know how to charm you with just the profile without even ever having to actually text you or know you or talk to you. They can charm you just off the prompts. They end up being the worst ones, girl. That's why since I have rejoined Hinge, I took me a little break because they was sending me too many ugly men all summer. So I had to take a little break. But now that I'm back, I have started to be a little bit more understanding with these men's profiles, because I know that they're not salesmen. They don't know how to sell themselves, and they're not doing a great job at it. But him in person is probably a lot better. Or maybe he's still awful. I don't know. That's just my theory.
Nobody loves the dating apps more than the married narcissist because it's so easy. It's all this supply and it's so accessible when their husband or wife is not around. The dating app right there with all these profiles and all these men and women that they could select from. So you guys, you got to understand something. When you go on a dating app, probably, over 50% of the people on there are probably married or definitely in relationships. But what are they going to tell you? They're going to tell you, "I'm separated," okay? Nobody loves to say they're separated more than a married narcissist on a dating app that's out there creeping.
Dating apps are the perfect playground for narcissists. Think about it. It's the perfect mask. So if you contact them, they would be able to see what you can bring to the table. They can see how you could be a potential supply. That is, if they haven't cherry-picked you first. Most narcissists use love bombing to make a cinematic impression on you. And with a profile giving them everything they need to know, I promise you, they're going to deliver a proper show. They're so good at love bombing that you wouldn't even notice that you're getting played. Until the discard happens, or you no longer serve as a supply. Of course, this is not to say that dating apps don't have any good people. On the contrary, there is a lot of good people there. But what I'm trying to say is you might want to be very careful. Keep your eyes open for all the red flags. Be vigilant. Do understand that this is where most of them lurk.
I deleted my Hinge and I don't think I'm ever going back. I've seen so many other women saying that they also deleted the app. Dating apps are no longer for dating. Men have just turned dating apps into like an easier way to access convenient sex. In love, we are kind of meant to be found. We're not meant to be actively trying to find love. It's just supposed to be something you stumble into. I don't understand how men got onto dating apps and were like, "Oh yeah, this is not going to be for dating." I literally was talking to a guy for a month. I was seeing him almost every single week. Got me a Valentine's Day gift, all this stuff. Woke up one day and was like, "I cannot be in a romantic relationship." Why were you on Hinge? I literally matched with another guy and he's like, "Oh, what are you on here for?" Usually when they ask you what are you on here for, they're either because they actually seriously do want a girlfriend, which is like very never, or because they're trying to see if you want to hook up. So I was like, you know what, let me give this guy like the benefit of the doubt. And I was like, oh, I'm on here trying to find my husband that I could run around the playground with at 2 a.m. Being kiki. This guy goes, something similar. I'm also trying to find people to hang out with late at night. I said, hang out with late at night? What do you mean? He goes, what's wrong with that? I said, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, I'm trying to find people to hang out with late at night or early mornings. I said, baby, you're looking for a prostitute. That's what you're on this dating app for? A lot of the components of dating apps are just so superficial, because I genuinely am such a surface level person on first match. You don't hit everything, all those points, I'm not gonna like you. Most of the men I've ever dated were from dating apps, and they were the worst ones, but they were the most beautiful ones. But the guys that I met, like, either through mutuals or in regular life, they weren't as attractive, but they were so much better. I feel like we get on dating apps because we feel this idea of like scarcity, so hard to find people. I was definitely like that too, because I had this whole idea like, fuck, how am I ever gonna find someone? There was a time people dated before dating apps. I think if we all put our fucking foot down and we get off the dating apps, men are gonna go back to talking to women in public, because they don't do it anymore, because it's just so much easier to go on an app and swipe. I really feel like when you get out of the mindset of allowing men to like behave mediocrely with you, when you get out of that, you'll realize that it's almost impossible for someone to come with like the pressure right off a dating app, because they've never had a conversation with you in person. They don't know who you are. How can I expect you to like want to plan an amazing date for me, and the only thing you have to go off of is 4 prompts and some photos of me? When somebody meets you in person, there's more of that initial connection, so they're more likely to be a bit more emotionally involved with you. So this is your sign. Get off the apps, go find your man at Erewhon, the gym, something. Anyways, I'm going to Pilates so that I can get my body right and tight.
So it seems like no one's going to say this, so I guess it's going to have to be me. Dating sites are for desperate people. I'm so sorry. Before y'all get mad at me, hear me out. Anytime you hear horror stories, when women come out and tell their stories about a man who did this to her, a man who played her, a man who lied to her, a man who the bleep did I marry, that story that's going around, right? A woman who was almost unalived, or a woman who got kicked out of a car on the first date and whatever else. Anytime you hear stories like this, even many of the women who've actually been put 6 feet under, whenever you hear those stories, like 90-something% of the time, when you ask these women, where did you meet this man? The vast majority of the time, they met on a dating site. Facebook dating, or Tinder, or Plenty of Fish, or a site for literal sociopaths and serial killers. Like, literally. That is where desperate people go to meet people, in my personal opinion. I feel like the vast majority of the males on dating sites, there's something wrong with them. They are sociopaths, they're narcissists, they are not very attractive, so you'll get catfished. You know, they're lying about their marital status. They're lying about the amount of children that they have. A lot of them are married. Many of them are on the down low. A lot of them are hobosexuals. Many of them are pedos that want to date single mothers just so they can get at your kids, right? Those are the types of men that are on dating sites. You might come across a 0.0003% of men who are really just having a hard time. They're really a decent guy. They're really having a hard time meeting women. They're shy, or something's wrong with them, but they're not really terrible. That's it. The rest of them, they're crazy. And we know this because every time you hear a horror story of something happening to a woman, she met him on a dating site 9 times out of 10. So we know this already. So why are you on there? And as a woman, you are the value. Shout out to Princella, right? She say you the value because that sounds better than saying you're the prize. But you really are the prize though, right? So how are you the prize and you're out sifting through trash, garbage? Like, you're sifting through trash literally to try to find love when you're supposed to be loving yourself. And I know a lot of y'all don't, because you're out here, I want somebody to love me. I'm looking for love. You're doing that because you don't have enough love within yourself. People who love themselves, typically they're not that desperate. Right? So we know the types of men that are on these sites. You're really not going to get good results. Many people who were on dating sites and got off, they got off because they realized that. They realized, this is a waste of time. How many times do you have to hear stories of women like getting done wrong, getting dragged? You can't get these people out your house. They're trying to unalive you because you want them to go. They're lying about their existence. Like, how many times do y'all have to hear these stories before you realize that is not a place for women to be? I'm starting to get to a place in my life where I'm starting, and I hate to say this, but I'm starting not to have that much empathy for you, the stories that I'm hearing coming off these dating sites, because y'all are like, We all got social media. We all hear these stories. How are y'all not paying attention? You're not going to be the exception to the rule. You're on a dating site just like the rest of these people that are desperate. You're going to get pretty much the same results. Many women got worse results. Many of them are in their graves right now because they met some dude on a dating site and had him meet him at your house the same night for the first date. Stupid shit like that. Like, y'all got to stop this. Like I said, this is my opinion. So I know a lot of you guys are going to come over here and say, that's just your opinion. It is. And I'm basing that opinion off the fact that when you hear horror stories, 9 times out of 10, these women met these men on dating sites. Please delete these apps from your phone. Please. These dating sites is not going to get you nowhere but unalived, essayed,
about dating apps. How do I feel about dating apps? I avoid them because I don't trust them dating apps, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I've been on a dating app in the past. I can't get into the dating apps, bro, because I don't know who behind that other screen on their phone texting me, bro. Like it could be somebody pretending to be a woman. Y'all link up, and the whole time, bro, they trying to set you up, they trying to rob you, they trying whatever it is that they trying to get up out of you, bro. Got a lot of people in my city. I'm from Memphis, bro. You got a lot of people who've been got through a dating app. They've been unalive through a dating app, and you just don't never know with them dating apps, bro. It could be a girl, her boyfriend might have dropped something in her ear to get at you, man. It could be, oh man, she might have a pimp trying to. You never just. It's too much that come with that dating app that I'm not with. So me, I'd rather just meet a woman in person. Now I'm not gonna lie, I DM a woman back and she sliding my DMs on Instagram, she sliding my DMs on Messenger. But at the end of the day, bro, I gotta watch that. I don't trust it, bro. So if you is doing them dating apps, bro, be careful up out here, bro. Like, man, you gotta meet a woman. Like, make sure you meet her in a public place, bro. Like, make sure you meet her in a public place. And this still ain't safe. Cause some people, if they really own it, bro, they'll unalive you in a public place. They'll get at you in a public place. So I don't deal with the dating apps, bro. If this your lingo, you deal with the dating apps. But it be too much going on for me to be dealing with dating apps, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Ladies, please stop going on those dating apps. There is nothing good on those dating apps. There's only 3 types of men that are on those dating apps. There's the mentally unhinged, unstable, narcissistic man. There is the bummy predator looking for someone to prey on. Then there's the man that's just looking for a hot screw. If you are not looking for any of those things and none of those things are on your agenda, that is the last place you should be looking to find someone to date. Most of those men that are on those dating apps have serious issues. And if they don't have serious issues, they're only looking for smecks. Nothing more. Do not get yourself caught up with that type of stuff. And if you are determined to still use those dating apps, do not go to those men's houses. These men think that these women are either vulnerable or sex workers. If you're neither one of those, you have no business on that dating app. We have been seeing an increase of women going to men's houses from these dating apps, and they're ending up deceased. So to save your life, stop going on those apps because you're not going to find nothing genuine and real on these apps. Y'all be safe and be well. Just know that this is a real thing.
I don't really like the idea of dating apps. It's too easy of a game. I can swipe, start a conversation with someone, move it to a phone call, then be on a date, and then be sleeping with that person within 48 hours, 24 hours, 12 hours. There's also an aspect, if you're on a dating app, that means you've gone on multiple dates or potentially slept with lots of people. For me, that's not a big, that's a no-go. It
doesn't always mean that.
Doesn't, but there's a good chance that happens. The percentage chance that has happened is greater than not, right?
Yeah.
And so that's, It's not a fun, it just makes me, the more I think about it, and we've talked about this a lot, I'm just really glad we found each other.
Yeah, same.
Dating apps are by far the biggest waste of time. I say this for a few different reasons. The first one being you will rarely ever meet up with the person that you're talking to. I feel like most people on dating apps use the app as an ego boost, and they don't actually care about going out on a date or meeting up with someone. They just use it to boost their confidence, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But when you're on a dating app looking to meet up with someone and no one's actually trying to meet up, you were just wasting your time. And the second reason why it's a waste of time is if you're actually looking for a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you're putting yourself in a pool of people who are not looking for the same thing. And granted, some people are, but that is not the right place to do it. Most people on that app are just looking for a one-time hookup or just a situationship. And say you actually do meet up with someone through a dating app, it's a completely different experience than actually meeting them in person at like a bar or at a party and like getting to know them in person and then going on an actual first date. You were actually able to see who this person is in person rather than just photos and texting them. It's a completely different experience.
If you're only going to do one thing today, make sure it's deleting dating apps. Please, for the love of God, delete the apps off your phone. Dating apps are so dangerous to the human connection. And think about it, on apps or any kind of business, there's products. What are the products on dating apps? It's women. Yeah, you heard me right. Dating apps are also the reason why no one goes up to each other anymore in person. If you walk into a cafe, everyone's on their phones. If you walked into a cafe maybe like 25 years ago, people are actually talking to each other. People have romantic stories about how they met each other. In fact, dating apps have ruined relationships. I live in Bali, where it's a revolving door of people coming in and out of the island, and that is so hazardous when it comes to forming genuine connections in real relationships, because as soon as shit hits the fan and shit gets real and you need to have a conversation and talk through things and work through things, people hop on dating apps and just get the quick next thing. We complain so much about how terrible dating is these days, but we are actually part of the pattern by having these apps. And I promise you, as soon as you start deleting these apps, more people will start talking to you in person. You'll just be attracting the right kind of energy around you. This is your sign.
Hi, love. So let me just give you a different perspective. Yes, there are a lot of risks in online dating, but there are a lot of risks in dating in general. You see, think about this. You meet someone at, let's say you're at Publix at the grocery store, and you're in the produce section. You see a gentleman. He is very handsome. He's putting his produce in, and he makes eye contact with you, gives you a pleasant smile. He may even ask you your name or a very clever question about the produce that you're looking at. What happens at that point? If there's a mutual interest for one another, you exchange pleasantries and maybe exchange phone numbers. You've slowly let your guard down. You talk to him on the phone and you arrange the first date. Okay? Now, one benefit of online dating is that you control the amount of information and the level of privacy that you give. You're dating smart. You are forced to have conversation. Whereas in the example that I gave, that you met someone face to face, more often than not all the time, you immediately kind of let your guard down. And the first thing that you might do is exchange cards, whether it's a business card, a work phone number, personal piece of information. Whereas when you're in the virtual dating space, you can control what you provide and how long you choose to engage in conversation with this person. Now, that's a whole nother live where I can talk about dating and vetting and all of that good stuff and how to keep your privacy, things to look for in online dating. But on my show, Conversations with Angel, on Wednesday night, I am about dating safety. Online dating is going to be a topic, but there's also face-to-face meeting and encounters that are safe. The bottom line is, online dating has gotten a bad rap, unfortunately, but it's time for many of us to really speak up about the true benefits of online dating and the effectiveness of what it has, and the same risk that you could have in meeting someone in person. So join me tomorrow night, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Conversations with Angel. That's January 24th. And we're going to talk about dating safely. Thanks for your comment, love.
Hey ladies, I'm about to say something that is not going to be the nicest thing I've ever said, but it has been on my mind for a minute. So back when I used to be on the dating apps, I have recently been delivered from those apps. Thank you, God. I'm not going back. Back when I was on there, the most hilarious thing would be when you scroll through their profiles and you come across the profile of a man who is, I'm gonna say it nicely, it's just giving a face that only a mother could love. I'm sorry, don't shoot the messenger. That's what it's giving. And you go to his dating intentions and he on here talking about, I'm looking for something short term, something fun. Sir, be so for real right now. Be so serious. You think that you're finna get on here and you're gonna find something? You think you finna get a friends with benefits on here looking the way that you look? Are you being serious today? It's not giving that. Your face is giving, he's not that cute, but he treats me really well and he's very sweet, so I'm gonna give him a chance. That's what that's giving. You need to be on here offering women the most genuine love and companionship that they've ever experienced. You need to be creating the most romantic experiences that they've ever had. You're not giving short term, baby. You're giving, I gave him a chance, I'm glad it worked out, but he wasn't my type for real. That's what you're giving. Sorry.